So as you're jumping on, if you are in position to have your camera on, we would love to see your handsome and beautiful faces. But if you're not, okay, if maybe there's things happening in your background, maybe you're trying to listen in at work, maybe you're on your home from work, on your way home from work, listening in, then just please go ahead. Don't be a distraction off and just listen in. But again, if you are able to be on camera, we would love those of you also on the line tonight. Make sure your lines are muted. We want to make sure we have a crystal clear call. We don't have any kind. I think I got muted out there for a second. We don't want to have any kind of background noise or anything keeping us from the call and the information or distracting from the call tonight, as our fearless leader here is going to be sharing so many golden nuggets. I promise you, you don't want to miss. So again, make sure that mute feature is hit on your phone, unless for some reason our speaker would ask you. Okay, so thank you in advance for doing that. As you're jumping on the line, I know we have a lot of brand new people just jumping on the call tonight. So my name is Carly Gwynn. I am chiming in tonight from Orlando, Florida. I am not your speaker or trainer, but I do happen to have the honor and privilege of introducing our speaker and trainer to you. So in just a moment, I will do that. But at this moment, I'm going to jump back in the chat and see. I see a whole bunch of names that have dropped in the chat. If you're just now jumping on, definitely go ahead and drop your name and where you're chiming in from in the chat so I can welcome you to the call. I see we have Eric chiming in from Virginia, John chiming in from South America, Laura chiming in from South Carolina, Lascano, Alfonso, Long Beach, welcome. Tim chiming in from Puerto Rico, Jackie chiming in from Colorado, JD in Alabama, Rutha May chiming in from New Mexico, Davian chiming in from Virginia, Edward in Maine. Let's see here. All right. Well, actually, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to everybody in the chat. Thank you for dropping your name and keep doing so if you're just not jumping on the call. But it is time for me to step out of the way of greatness. The gentleman I have the honor and privilege of introducing to you tonight, he is a family man. He's a military veteran, and he's been a successful entrepreneur for over the past 25 years. He's earned millions of dollars in 3 different industries, but he came out of retirement because this will be the 4th industry that he's going to earn millions of dollars in. Now, obviously, as I've said, he's done pretty well for himself, but more importantly, he's always done what's best for his people and helped them to make millions of dollars. Has a goal to help 10,000 families generate $5,000 per month in residual recurring income over the next 2 to 5 years. But what I love most about him is he's the definition of integrity and character, and he's one of the only people that's ever been and done every single thing he ever committed to me that he would be or do. So, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the line. Give me some fire, give me some hearts in the chat. Help me welcome to the line someone I'm honored to call my coach, my mentor, and my friend, the VP of Sales, Mr. Sam Bean.
Hey, Carly, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. That's electric, boy. I tell you, mixing a little bit of you with a little bit of my music, my jump start music, you know what I mean? That ain't nothing but fire. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, again, that's Carly Gwynn out of Orlando, Florida. Just always bringing the heat, always bridging the gap, always doing that thing. And so thank you very much, Carly, for getting us started. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a great time for you. Go ahead and continue to make your phone calls, building up your pipelines, building up your teams and the skill sets of the people in your teams as well. Setting your systems in place, putting all your people in place, getting this thing ready to rock and roll. Okay, priming the pump. Okay, because when we say go, and we we flip that switch, and everything goes. International lights up, travel lights up, the internet boxes, mesh boxes lights up, Web3 lights up, Build Academy lights up, guys. You don't want to be playing catch up. Okay, you want to make sure that you want to make sure that you are out there in the hunt. Make sure you're out there grinding. So one of the ways you make sure that you don't have to play catch up is by getting a head start. Okay, and you get a head start by going out there exposing the opportunity. Okay, so when you're exposing the opportunity, guys, that means that you're talking to a lot of people. Okay, and people who do presentations a lot, they have the best conversations. Okay? People who learn how to actually speak, people who learn how to go out here and expose the business through presentations. You know how to go out there and let everybody know what it is that we have, and help them attach an emotion to it. Again, you have the best conversations, high level conversations. You can switch it up and use your presentational flow. Okay. So when it comes to the thing, one of the things that I actually developed, it's called the SCEAM method. Okay. Some of you have heard it from way back in the day, and um, and this will be some of your first time. And so this is probably the scheme on steroids because it's always evolving. That's one thing about you guys. Anything and everything that you train, present, talk about, it should always evolve. Okay. But when you look at the SCEAM method, it's SCHEME, right? But again, any way it comes, any way it flows, don't matter. But right now we're going to start with the S, right? And so when you look at S, the first S in these S's is you want to make sure that you start right. Okay? You want to make sure you start right. You want to be prepared, guys. Okay? You want to make sure that when you present, before you present, you're prepared. You give yourself extra time to inspect what you expect on your lines. If it's a Zoom, get there extra early, check your lines, check your presentation. Right? If you're meeting somebody at a restaurant or a hotel or a lobby or somewhere, and you're gonna be sitting there at a coffee shop or something, make sure you get there extra early. Things that are important to that individual, talking points towards their background or their familial status, whatever it is. You just want to make sure you create a ritual, okay, of getting prepared. Okay, when it comes to for me, I like to do affirmations when I get prepared. I like to do my declarations. I like to, work on my breathing, work on, just get myself together. Right. I like to read things painfully slow so I can really work on my tone, my pitch, my speed, all that good stuff. But those are things that I do, to get myself in position to be successful. I want to make sure I am in a position to get the highest impact possible based on what I can control. Okay. So also for those of you who are brand new, when it says start right, the best way to start is just by opening your mouth. Right. Just by opening your mouth. Don't have fear about messing things up. If you're pointing and reading, all right, instead of trying to come off the dome, right, it's easier. Point and read. People respect people who point and read. They know that because you're pointing and reading, you don't want to mess it up. You don't want to look like you're an expert. You want to keep it simple. And guess what? Simple is duplicatable. So just start speaking without worrying about how good you are. You don't have to be bad before you're good, and you don't have to be good before you're great. And I'm gonna just tell you, that's the process that everybody goes through and then grows through. So the more repetitions you have under your belt, guys, the more courage you'll build up as well. The more fluid you'll get, the more things you'll learn about your conversation, about the presentation, right? And next thing you know, you'll be talking ahead of the slides. And next thing you know, you won't need the slides. Okay. This is speak on purpose. And this is always one of my biggest challenges. When we talk about speak on purpose, paying attention to your speed, right? Your pace, your tone, your pitch, enunciation, articulation, all that good stuff, guys. Those, all those, all of them. Okay. Uh, you have to get better at communicating if you want to make sure people know what it is that you're selling and what the value is. You don't want that to get lost in translation. When I looked at the best speakers in the company, I always marveled at these guys. I'm like, man, these guys are real smooth. They know exactly what they're talking about. They're well studied. These individuals are warning the crowd. They got these people, eating out the palm of their hands, whatever it was. I looked at that and said, you know what? I want that to be me one day. But I had to figure out what it was that I was missing, and what I was missing was a speech pathologist. Right, so I literally had to hire somebody to help me learn how to talk again. Right, like an accident or something, and you end up on crutches or in a wheelchair, and all of a sudden you got to learn how to walk again. Okay, well, I had to learn how to talk again. So these are things that when you talk about speaking on purpose, showing people that you care, your team sees you evolve, the company sees you evolve, people now starting to bet on you because you're betting on yourself. Okay. But got to get better at communicating. Okay. Communication is the key. Stay away from rabbit holes as well. And when you talk about speaking on purpose, guys, don't try to do too much. Hey, you have people who they get really excited, and you got this thing you heard Idris Alaka say in his presentation. All of a sudden, that's not what you say all the time, and boom, you try to say it, and then you go down that rabbit hole. You don't know how to get back. Okay, you hear JC Rangel say something, and boom, next thing you know, you're trying to steal it, you're trying to use it. Superfly, because Matt Acosta said it last week, and he ripped it up, and all of a sudden, you now off track, right? Make sure about doing that is going down the chart with your finger and reading. If you ever go down the rabbit hole, the best way to do it, to get out of the rabbit hole, is just stop, inhale, and start pointing again. I'm sorry, you know what? I got off track, but let me get back on track. Humility, right? But that's important, guys. Speak on purpose. Now, the next one is your story, right? That right there is very, very important. So your story, your background on why you got started, right? That's important. Okay. Let everybody know what it was that you saw that made you want to pull the trigger, when it comes to this company. Let them know also, guys, that you actually have ties to people in the company that they want to get to know. And when I'm talking about now, these are the three stories, because it's not just your story, but it's the three stories, right? And so, 1 second here, I'm gotta give me a couple more bodies in here. There we go. All right. So the first story you want to learn how to tell, guys, that's your upline story. That's your senior partner story. That's the person who is, here to help. That's the person that they're probably going to respect before they learn how to respect you in this situation. Okay, so when I first started talking about BYLD, I started talking about JC Rangel because, again, he had the story. All right. Now, all of a sudden, once I talked about him enough, I got enough people on the phone, three ways, lifelines, lunch calls, and stuff like that, using his name, using his story. Right. Now, I'll put so many people in the business that now I had a story. Okay, so that's the second story. My story. So now my first 30 days, I put X, Y, and Z business people in business. The first 90 days, I put X, Y, and Z people in business, right? And now I have a story. So people know I'm winning. People know I'm achieving things. People know that I'm getting it good. And now, but the people who I brought in, right, with my story, I'm helping them create the most important story, the most impactful story, the most powerful story is the story that's, in your group down in depth. Okay. Because you guys are going to get so good, at telling your story that and making so much money that some people are not going to come in and believe that they can even do what you do, right? They're going to be like, okay, well, let me see, what Jerry is doing, because I understand that Rod is just really good at what he's done. He's been doing this for a long time. They're going to already write it off to your experience, and they're going to pretty much look at your resume. Okay, when you have a resume of people who you help, they can say, you know what? I see what Rod did for Jerry, but if he did it for Jerry, he could do it for me. I see what Rod did for Audrey, but if he did it for Audrey, he could do it for me, right? And that's what they go off of, what you've done for somebody else. Keep in mind that when you don't have a resume, right, you don't have a story of people who you've helped. That means that they're still going to be looking to your upline for their resume and their story. So the faster you get a story, the faster people will now start to look to you and not look around you. Okay? But those stories are very, very important. Now, when it comes to stories, want to make sure, one, tell the truth in your stories, guys. Okay? And when it comes to the stories, make sure you're not embellishing. The truth is good enough. You have people who they just come in and talk about how much money they made, how many people they recruited, you know, how many deals they done. It's not it's not worth it, because at some point in time it's going to come to light, and people are going to find out. Okay, Chris, I got a hot mic. Can you catch that for me, please? I don't know who that is, but be conscious of the time also, guys. So, and we'll talk about time in a little bit, but keep your mind, keep in mind that your first opportunity to make a connection with your audience, take full advantage of it. So if somebody's introducing you, that's the first time they meet you. Make sure your story is compelling. Make sure the stories of the people you help are compelling, but also make sure the stories of the company are compelling as well. Okay. Next is simplicity. Okay, simplicity is the key. Now, you want to point read until, again, you can do it from memory, like I talked about earlier. You always, because that's, remember, talking while you're pointing is duplicatable. All right. It keeps it simple for everybody else. One question you want to ask yourself is, can my people do this? And that's a question that, if you're doing it the right way, you should always have the answer like yes. But it also keeps you from going down the rabbit holes, as I talked about. It evolved bullet points and pointing and reading, right? And you can add stickies, right? And post the facts and things like that, jokes and reminders and like nuggets or whatever you have. Use that stuff. It's on your computer, right? It's all around you. You can cheat. It's open book quiz, right? And so do that, but keep it simple. Anything that you can do to keep it simple for you, keep it simple for you. The first C, confidence. You want to make sure you have confidence in everything you offer. Okay. If you don't have confidence in it, don't offer it. Simple as that. Right. You have some things that we have in the company that's ready right now. You have some things in the company that are not. Right. And so if you're comfortable pitching the things that you're comfortable with, that we have ready right now, do that. You don't have to pitch everything that we have. Pitch everything you believe in. Okay. So when it comes to confidence, also make sure you have a short-term memory. Okay. I say that when you make mistakes, forget about it. Okay? They drop passes all the time, right? And when they drop passes, they got to line right back up and go out there and catch the next one. You got people who miss dunks, right? Just telling you. One of the Houston Rockets missed a dunk in Golden State the other night. Ticked me off. But guess what? He went back down the court and still knocked some shots down. But you got to have a short memory, guys, because again, you're going to make those mistakes. Just expect it, but just expect to make sure you learn from those mistakes. Okay. Also, when it comes to confidence, guys, don't let the moment become bigger than the purpose. Okay. If you get nervous or anxious, relax and breathe. Just take a second. No anxieties. Okay. You'll be able to overcome it. Okay. And notice this, you don't have to be great, but you do have to finish. At some point in time, that's the thing that helped me out a lot. Getting started was where I had my most anxiety, right? That's where I had all the butterflies. That's where I had all the nervousness and everything else. But once I got started, I said, you know what? If I just keep on pointing and reading, one day I'm not gonna have nothing to point at. It's gonna be over before I know it. And that was my saving grace. I just had to get started, right? So that's important. Closing, next C, always be closing. ABC, always be closing, right? And always help people close themselves. There's nothing like helping a person come to a buying decision, okay? Let a person close themselves and help them along the way. But the best way to make sure you help them close themselves, guys, is by eliminating objections along the way, all through the presentation. When I get started with a presentation, guys, I tell everybody normally I tell everybody what they can do and what it ain't right out the gate. I tell everybody, hey, look, this is what you can do, right? So if you wanted to be one of those people who I just want to sell something, I don't want to recruit nobody, I tell you, look, on a part-time basis, you can make a six-figure income without recruiting, and it ain't network marketing. Okay? And so I done already knocked off a couple of objections out the gate. I can make money. I can do it part-time. I had to quit my gig. I'm knocking out objections out the gate before I even get started. And then I'm doing it all the way through, to the end till I close, and then at the close. But answer. So if you're doing a presentation and you answer their questions, you know what questions, guys, think about it. FAQs, right? You know your FAQs before you even go into the presentation. So it helps you address them during the presentation. When you know your prospects also, be familiar with your prospects. The great closers, guys, they cater the presentations to their prospects. Like right now, I'm at a whole entire uh, universe of presentations that cater to specific individuals and specific industries.